What do you have for me?
So I'm single and feminine, 40 years old, danger zone, I know.
No, no, no,
Um,
no. You're
but
beyond danger zone. You're in no man's land.
no. Yeah,
He's like,
so
let's correct that.
I just want to know how can I improve myself and get a high value man?
How can you improve yourself? Is that what you said?
Yes, how can I get a high value man?
Oh
I
well.
know that.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Are you where are you? Where do you live?
So I am in Canada, Toronto, Canada, and I'm
Okay.
Filipina.
All right. So why do you need a high value man?
Because I considered myself a high value woman.
Okay. That's fine. But why do
Yes,
you need a high value man?
because I think high value men um, like they can provide for family.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No,
At 40 years old, do you plan on having children?
yes,
How many?
I
Huh?
two or three if I can. Two
Okay.
or three if I can.
Okay.
Yes,
All
yes,
right. At 40 years old, you know you're in high risk pregnancy zone, right?
yes, I know.
All right.
But I am healthy and I'm doing
Okay. I'm just
yeah.
being just laying it out. Just and what do you do for a living?
So I am a nanny. I'm taking care of kids right now.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. High value men in general typically don't marry 40-year-old nannies.
Exactly. Like we could just stop right there. She's 40 years old, a nanny. We could say she's a bit past her time, right? If something more normal is go look for that man about 15 years ago. She's about 15 years too late. But it's funny how women think they could just live their lives, do whatever they want at whatever age, and then just turn around and get whatever they want at their latter years. Doesn't really sound too appealing when he could go get a 25-year-old.
They typically marry 21-year-old nannies.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest factor is going to be appearance. So, how tall are you?
5.
5?
Yes.
5 what? 5 feet?
Just 5. Yeah, 5
Okay.
feet.
Okay. What's the dress size?
4, 6,
Mhm. And what would you rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? Just your face. You cannot use 7.
8.
8.
No.
Yes.
Uh, so you put yourself up there with Beyonce.
Sure.
Is that no?
She's like, sure. Me and Beyonce, yeah, same level.
I mean, I'm trying to
Okay.
be. I mean, I take my. I mean, I know a lot of times ladies call my show and they're kind of half playing, half serious, but I take my show very seriously. So,
Okay.
I mean, an 8 means you're, you know, pretty,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful is a 9, and gorgeous is a 10.
Okay.
Um, have you ever
Where do I
modeled
rank?
before? Huh? Excuse
Where do
me?
I rank?
No, well, and no, well, and it matters, ma'am, because it matters at how you estimate yourself. Because why haven't you got married to this point?
I don't find a man that I like. I mean, I have some before, but they didn't work.
Who controls access to marriage, ma'am? Women or men?
Men.
Right. And if you want a high value man, and if you rank yourself as an 8, Why hasn't a man of means come by and made him married you?
Oh, so because of my working experience and
What
like I
about your working
traveled,
experience? Nobody, no,
so I
ma'am, ma'am. High value,
yes.
you're not a millionaire nanny.
Exactly. And this day and age, listen, the man will find you. You could be living in Nebraska. All right. If trust me, if he's interested and you're that hot, he's looking for you. Doesn't matter where you are.
No.
So, what do you respect
All
listen, please? Your work
sure.
experience is not a reason for a high value man, if you were what you say you are, to not marry you.
No, it's not about that. What
It
I
sounds to me as though you massively overestimate your sexual marketplace value. You're
Exactly.
40 and a nanny.
mm, what I mean is I traveled from one place to another, from Philippines to
I
different countries.
I understand what you mean, ma'am.
So
I get
so
it.
meaning okay.
I
So
understand that.
meaning that I don't find a man like, let's say I work in Hong Kong as a nanny and like I don't maybe
Ma'am, you're not the
be
ma'am. Let me just go ahead and cut to
okay.
the chase.
Okay.
You're average looking at best. Average.
Okay.
She's about a
Okay.
5.
You're a 40-year-old average looking woman. And I don't understand why you would, and average people get average people.
Okay.
But you want a high value man, a man who makes a lot of money.
Sure.
Yeah, but why would he want you? That's a fair question. Why would he want you when he can go get a younger, hotter woman?
Oh, I'm a special woman and
Okay.
I have
What
something
makes you so
special.
special?
Oh, I am I know how to cook. I cook well.
Okay.
I'm very friendly and family oriented, and I'm
Hmm.
very um, um, I'm encourager.
Great. Then a woman with all those traits, if you were what you if your sexual marketplace looks and stuff were what you think they should be, then it doesn't matter where you travel. Men of means would have found you and offered to marry you by now.
Exactly. Not only that, whatever area they're in, they will typically meet a man. They'll meet several men. And if your caliber is where your caliber is, they'll have no problems reaching out or finding you. Trust me.
Right?
You're not that, ma'am. You're average looking. And the
Yeah.
things you're talking about, no disrespect, ma'am, they're not that special.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to get you to understand is, do you own a car?
Nope.
Have you ever owned a car?
No.
Did you go to college?
Yes.
Did you graduate?
Yes.
All right. So, but you know what cars are. If you owned a car, you're asking for 4 or 5 times more than the car that you own is worth. The
Okay.
problem isn't the people you're trying to sell the car to. The problem is you're asking too much for the car. At 40
Okay.
years old, the likelihood of you being able to have 3 children is exceedingly rare. And even if you can, if you found a guy today, you'd be 41 before you got married and started having kids.
Yes.
Why would a man that has money want to have a woman like that when he can go get a 25-year-old who's not nearly as picky?
No.
See, I think a lot of you women come in and talk about high value men to set the bar high so when you can't get it, you can say, well, there were just no men on my level. Versus saying, I just want an average, decent man with good character. See, that's far easier to find. But see,
Oh
even if
yeah.
you can't get them, then it would be much more of a blow to your ego. See, saying you can't get a rich husband is not that big a blow to your ego because they're rare. There are not that many of them. But if you can't get a guy who's a plumber, would you marry a plumber?
No.
Why?
Oh, plumber?
Yeah,
Yeah,
plumber.
as long as you have a good job, and of course, first of all, it's not just about the money that I want into a
But you said a
guy.
high value man. That's a
I
man who
also,
makes a lot of money. That's
because you mentioned like the average man now. Yeah, so I
right.
don't
But do
really,
you,
I'm
okay, so
confused.
let's start here. You're picky, but that's fine. But do you want to have to work after you're pregnant?
I hope not.
Ma'am. So you want a man who's making a lot of money so you don't have to work.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Why would he pick you when he can go get a beautiful young woman? Seriously. I don't
Yeah.
understand why so many of you women think you deserve to not have to work. I mean,
Maybe I'm too ambitious maybe for that.
no, you're delusional.
Okay.
And so you want to spend other people's money. Ma'am, you're a freaking nanny.
Yep.
You're not a rocket scientist. You take
Yes.
care of other people's kids.
Okay.
But you think you should have a rich husband?
I Even I am nanny, I also have some passion
I don't
that,
care. What do men judge women on?
right.
What do
Okay.
we judge what do men around the world judge women on? Do we care about your passion?
No.
Do we care about your ambition?
No.
What do we care about?
We care about a physical and
We care about your
determined
looks. We care about the way you
looks
look, your
and
youth.
age.
Yes. And
So
you know this, ma'am, and you're 40. You're
yes.
midlife. Too old. If you were in the Philippines dealing with a
Yes.
matchmaker, they would tell you they wouldn't even take you on as a client because you're too old for marriage.
Right.
After age 27, matchmakers stop taking women, especially in Asian countries.
Yes.
So just because you live in
So
Canada doesn't change the fact that you are 40 years old,
right.
average looking.
So I should stop my delusion.
Well, you should start therapy. You should actually start counseling and therapy because if you're being honest with me, the level
Yes.
of delusion here is incredible. It's like
Okay.
you're not even touching reality. And I'm
Oh,
trying to talk to you to try to understand why you are so full of yourself. I mean, I could understand if you at least had a PhD
I'm a
or
PhD.
you had like a high earning career or you had something. You're a nanny.
yes.
That would be like a dude that works at Starbucks thinking he should date models.
Okay.
You should go to get therapy to go check out what's ever going on with you and then go for a better quality of life. Because honestly, if you're being honest with me, it sounds like the average guy you would get, you sound like you'd really be a hard time on him. You wouldn't appreciate him.
Okay.
So, woo.
Yeah.
Don't know
Yeah, she's into. Let's see what Kevin got to
what's
say.
going on with that one.
Taps. Oh man, this is hilarious.
Look, ladies, look, the first caller. You ladies are going to have to, well, turn off freaking Instagram and all these rappers and telling you that you deserve a Birkin bag and a Bentley. What? The last caller, I really believe that she thought she was hotter than an 8. When you're I mean, you're like a 5 or 4-5 on a good day. But not being able to look at a man, I just, All right, but back to the original thing. Zoe, ladies, the problem I have with Zoe is she knows better. Her heart's in it because she's a dog. She owns a dog walking business. But you ladies still have to ask yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How old are you?
I am 34.
And what's your disagreement?
Well, my disagreement is with you're saying that modern women are unhappy and all of this. And I mean, there's, that could be true. But me personally, what I see, and I don't want you to say, oh, this is anecdotal. I don't see that. I don't see that happening in any capacity.
Okay,
like when I
hold
see
on,
modern women,
Josh, you must be Fetty Wap. I guess you can't see because it's completely different.
What I need you to do is not overwhelm. What I need you to do is take a breath.
Sorry, my
And
bad.
I need you to hold your phone steady.
Alrighty.
Okay. What does your husband have to say about that?
What does my husband have to say about are modern women happy?
No, but about this subject. I want to hear when you guys discuss this topic. What does he say?
I think he agrees. I think he sees and knows enough modern women who can also say that they're very happy too. You know what I mean?
And you're 30 what? You're 30 what?
I'm 34.
Okay. How many
I'll be
children do you
35
have?
in August.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 children.
How long have you guys been married?
We've been married for 10 years. Together for 12.
Okay. At what age did I say the happiness differential split?
I believe 30.
40.
My apologies.
So show me all these happy modern women over 40.
I mean, I obviously I don't have the capacity to show you like physically, but
the study honestly, I'm talking about surveyed 97,000 people. This has been studied since 2007.
Well, my question is, I think it's not so much because I see women who are doing so many amazing dynamic things that give them so much fullness and so much happiness. So I can't say with confidence, modern women aren't happy. Most of the women that I see.
Right, ma'am.
Okay, well,
ma'am, no. What you did is I asked you about the study, the data, and you blew right past it to go to the anecdotal, and you don't want me to talk about the anecdotal. I'm going to talk about the data because what black women, 1 in 4 black women were married. You mean 3 out of 4 women are happy being unmarried? That's what you really think in our community?
Honestly, yes. Honestly, yes. I think that even those 3 out of 4 that aren't married, just because they're not married doesn't mean they're not happy. Mm-hmm. And I think
right. How long have you watched this show?
Well, clearly not long if she really believes that. She believes that they'll be happier being unmarried than married. Okay. Why don't you go ask someone? Because this anecdotal experience can't be the only experience you would actually experience. Come on.
I've watched it since that viral video with the
so
7
if you watch this show, how many women call in who are still looking for something?
Well, of course. I mean, that's the nature of this show, right?
That's the nature of the situation because ma'am.
Yes.
I'm not disputing what you may believe. That's fine.
Okay.
You are a married woman with 4 kids and you've been out of this for 12 years. Your lived world is very narrow.
Okay.
Very narrow. So instead of disagreeing, what I need women like you to do is quiet down and listen. Because
I will agree with
that. Because ma'am, there's a problem in black community in particular. 80% of our children are born outside of wedlock. Black boys are reading at a 4th grade level. We have a relationship problem in our community. We are not
agree with
making families, and that is not
I agree
making
with that
anyone
too.
happy. Women are the social of the species. The brain is a social organ. This is how we were evolved as human beings. So to say that women are doing great and wonderful things in their single life does not change your biological imperative just because we decided to say women can have degrees. That does not make women happy in mass.
I agree with you there. I'm not saying that the fullness of women's life, but I don't even think it's just that. I think that we minimize the fact that there are women creating businesses, there's women creating change in the world that I think can't be minimized. That is giving them that fullness.
Women are
You know what I mean?
whoa. Women are doing what?
Creating businesses,
Well,
creating
no,
strides in
no.
our
Now we're going to go
community.
down this path. Now we're going to go down this path.
Okay.
What percentage of women earn over six figures in this country?
I would say it'd probably be at most 10%.
Six. What percentage
Okay.
of women, what businesses are women businesses? Now we want to talk about business. I don't consider hair, nails. I consider businesses stuff that actually provide a useful something useful to
But who
society.
are you to say that that's
Oh
not
no,
useful?
no!
There
Don't
are
ask me
whole
who am I to say.
a whole
Hold on, hold
portion of
on.
the
Who am? Oh no, you
population
won't overtalk
that's
me. You
incredibly
won't over
useful and
fucking talk me.
incredibly
You won't
needed.
overtalk
I
me.
totally agree.
You
I
won't overtalk me. You check that shit with
well,
your husband.
well, but what you're
Check that shit with your husband. You don't overtalk me on my show. Who am I to say? Ladies and gentlemen, what we see right here is the marketing of the situation. Who are you to say? So everything that women do are great. You can't judge anything. So women to call themselves entrepreneurs because they sell mink eyelashes in bundles are on the same level as Microsoft. You're muted. You're muted until I get back because you keep over talking me. And when I said that and you kept talking, I find that extremely disrespectful. Let's try this again. But that's one thing I don't allow anybody to do on this show. That's just wrong. Go ahead.
and again, my apologies for that. I'm not trying to be rude. I can't
But when you
fully
say
hear you. I'm on my phone, so I'm trying
when
to
you
do my
say
best. So
when
my apologies. But
okay, hold
again,
on, hold on. When you say who are you to say,
I
I'm hold
exactly.
on, hold. Or you need to wait. You're going to respond to something I didn't even say. Ma'am, I deal with facts, data, statistics, verifiable stuff, not feelings. Science, engineering, technology, math, things that build the economy, build us a world, not sole proprietorships. Businesses are things that help to, you need employees, in my opinion, to really have a business.
Okay.
How many, if you look, just like we say in the black community, black women are the most educated. That was improper. They're the most enrolled. When we look at women who are starting businesses, when you look at how many have W 2 employees, what percentage of business do women have who have W 2 employees? What would you think? Of all the registered businesses, what percentage would you say have W 2 employees?
I mean, we said 6%, correct?
No,
Or
that's 6% to make six figures.
okay. Oh, my apologies. I would say probably about 7-8%.
Wait, what? How does that even mathematically work out? It'd have to be less than that. That doesn't even mathematically make sense. But I'm gonna assume maybe 1 to 2%. I wouldn't say it's a common occurrence. It's not something that really happens often.
How much? 7 or 8%?
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, so of 100% of female-owned businesses, you saying maybe 7 or 8% have W-2 employees.
Oh,
I'll take.
excuse me. No. My apologies. Let me back that up. No, I would say more than that. But also, can I ask, what
No,
about
no, I'm
someone
gonna
like?
ask you for a number before we move. I just wanted to see
Okay,
where
I'll give you a number. But then, can I ask my question?
you're gonna ask my question first.
Yes, I am. I would say probably about 35-40%, maybe.
No, no, because if we had that same, if we extrapolated, that would say 30 to 45% of businesses owned by men have W-2 employees. That would make women outproducing men. Women are not employing. Women do start businesses, but they don't employ anybody but themselves for the most part. That's not really business. That's a large check for the ones who do it. What's your question?
Okay, well, my question was, what about like multi-level marketing and things like that? Because a lot of the people who are
Amway, Herbalife?
well, maybe not even just that, but just, like life insurance and things like that. I know a lot of
Primerica?
I know a lot of the top people that are in
Ma'am,
multi-level
is that what
marketing.
you're asking about?
Not even just that, just in
Multi-level
general,
market, ma'am,
marketing.
multi-level marketing. That is not what this economy is built off of.
I will agree with that, but I'm still saying, as far as
That's
the
not real
numbers,
business, ma'am. And I have nothing against Primerica. I give shout outs to Primerica all the time. But Primerica aside, because you actually have a series, a life, a health, a series 6 and a 63 that you could leverage in the market to a captive insurance agency, multi-level marketing, Herbalife, these kind of things, they're not real business.
well, the reason I brought that up is because a lot of the leaders in multi-level marketing are women, because women, like you said, we utilize influence, like we use our soft power.
Leading
And
what?
so in
A
that,
house of
what I'm
cards.
saying is
A
that,
house of cards. A house of cards.
true, okay,
A house of cards that Mary Kay does not build the company.
I mean,
Man,
but there are some
no.
women who
A
are
house of
living
cards.
incredibly
This
good
is
lives
this
off.
is this is just nah. See, and this is where I think the bigger issue is. Ladies, women like this are not your friend. They're not your friend, because they'll tell you, yeah, women are happy. Women are happy. But I guarantee you this. I'm gonna keep muting because you can't overdo the over talking thing. I do. That's just what's not going to happen. Well, how about this, ma'am? You're 34?
Yes.
Since it's so great and wonderful out here for single women, why don't you go ahead and divorce your husband and jump back out here with him?
Why would I sit there
Well,
and
since it's so great and wonderful,
no,
if
what
it's
I'm
so
saying is
great and
I
wonderful,
wouldn't do that, because
exactly, because ma'am, you don't have to live the life you're talking
my
about.
friend, I would like, I'm saying, like,
You don't have to live the life you're talking about. That's the point. So this is all. This is theory, nice, but just like Beyonce, all the single ladies running back to our home. Not all married women you ladies should listen to. You should not listen to them, especially ones like that, who will look dead at, who can actually walk around and see 1 in 4 women on some sort of psych meds. 80% of our women being overweight, 80% of that number being obese, 80% of our children being born out of wedlock. 1 in 4 black women were married. The numbers are overwhelming and staggering. She will tell you, no, what you see ain't what you really see. It's great, wonderful. Women are strong and independent, doing their thing. What do you have? What do you have on the topic?
On the topic as far as
Yeah, modern women want the world.
Modern women wanting the world. I definitely I'm more of on the side, I guess, on the men's side of things. And just, I know you were telling women to tap in when they were, if they're being modern, but I feel like just that attitude has definitely left us in a deficit. And being that I do have a brand, and I have actually a brand that says Black Men, I Love You, right? And I used to be married years ago.
How old are you?
34.
All right. So let's talk about the subject. So you're in agreement that modern, okay. Because I'm trying to stay on the subject.
Oh, yes. I believe that, modern women do want a lot of things, or that have left us in a deficit to where,
So why are you no longer married?
Actually, my husband, my ex-husband, he wasn't in agreement. We're both very young. I was married in my 20s. I was in the military for 7 years coming up. So I just felt like when I was in the military, I wanted to start my business.
Do you want to remarry?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any children?
I have a son. He's 7.
Okay. Do you want any more children?
Yes.
And you're how old?
34.
How many more kids would you like?
2 more.
Okay. So at 34, are you seeing anybody seriously?
No. I've been working, I guess, a lot on the business, which I feel like I don't want to
I
be.
know you have the business, but I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about business and promotion right here. If you want to promote
Mhm.
the
No, no,
business,
no, no. I'm just saying
but
like
what I'm
that.
saying is ultimately, here's the thing:
Hmm.
you're talking like a modern woman. Everything is business, 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 business. But I'm getting down to the life. You've been
Hmm.
married, you're divorced. You got a
Yes,
7-year-old, and you say you like to be married again, and 2 kids. I could care less about the business. How you gonna get the
exactly.
husband and the kids?
That's exactly what I'm on. Like I'm hating that it's always about that and wanting to get
Well, you
back
get to
to
choose.
exactly. And I definitely choose marriage and a family and a husband.
All right. Well, here's the thing. If that's the case, then I shouldn't have to struggle so much to keep you to talk about it.
Yes, sir.
Because I have asked you, I have had to ask you 3 times about relationship, and it's all your business, your brand. I don't care about. I care about this. You're the man.
Totally.
Checkmate already. Kevin got her early. Notice that she's coming in preaching this message. When Kevin says he usually holds up a mirror, and he's gonna ask you, and he's gonna make sure you're right and you're ready. And as you can see, she's just about her business, her brand. And where's the man?
No, where is he?
Well, no, like I was saying earlier, I'm not necessarily dating anybody.
Okay.
Um,
So pragmatic question.
mhm.
When do you think you're going to start dating somebody if your end goal is to get married and have 2 more kids at 34? You only got so much time.
That's exactly. I know that I definitely go out, try to do dating, but just trying to find someone where you're not even looking for someone on your level, but just looking for something that meshes
What do you
with
mean on
just,
your level?
or, I'm not one of those. I know that a lot of people or women I hear on here saying about men being on their level, and it's really
Mhm.
just about somebody that you can build and maintain something with. That's what I'm, more looking towards, not
But if
necessarily.
you, when was the last time you
Mhm.
dated though?
I've dated a couple of months ago, but nothing too serious. Just
Okay.
kind of
How long
dating.
you been divorced?
Been divorced about 4 or 5 years now.
And so I got to use this as an avatar. Far too many times, black women, you want something. You ain't had a relationship in 4 or 5 years. Your mid 30s. Say you want to be married with kids, and ain't no man nowhere in sight. You're not dating seriously. So what's supposed to happen? You're supposed to rub. You're supposed to find a lad's lamp and rub and get a wish. I mean, at what point does the man become the priority?
That's definitely that's what even you'll see men, but even knowing that you don't want to necessarily, like you're saying, you want to pick and make sure you do it right because you've already done it once.
No, no,
No,
no.
no. Okay.
Where's your dad?
My father, my both my parents are still together. They live in Alabama.
And they were married?
Yes, they're still married. They've been married for 35 years.
All right. Then how'd they get it done and you didn't?
Well, I tried the first time.
But I
You
get
tried.
it, but it didn't work.
Exactly.
Okay. But it's been 3 or 4 years and you ain't had no man and ain't no man on the table.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
let's just be honest. A man is not a priority. You saying you want this, but you're not moving like it's a priority.
I'm really, yeah, just trying to find that balance to really making that the priority now that
What do you mean find the balance? It's called a kid, and unless you are independently wealthy, how you plan on getting to the end of life? Trying to make it lighter. I mean, kind of keep it light, man. But
Mhm. That's why I was saying I'm not here to advertise, but I do definitely do
I
very
didn't say
well
about
with
advertising.
business.
This is what I think.
Yeah, saying I do well with business.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Have you ever sat down with a professional counselor?
As far as just emotional, or you mean
Yeah,
like the
mental.
I've definitely sat down with in the military. Yes, I've done counseling for many of years throughout the years just to maintain your, a balance
Okay,
within
but
the
okay, all right. But what about for relationship and your mindset?
a relationship. Only when I told you I was married before, so we did some sort of relationship counseling, and
All
then I
right.
did some.
So that's for a crisis.
Mhm.
I'm talking to a 34-year-old woman with how old is your child? 7.
7.
How to make that child? If you're going to look to get married again, you're looking for a stepfather.
Mhm.
All right. Then you have to understand what the kind of man you wants from a woman, how your child is going to become an asset to that man, And at 34, you should be, this should be your priority, especially if you're talking about having kids. Because
Mhm.
time will run. Yes. This is the problem. So many people just let you women talk. And you get on here
Ooh,
and you're going talk, and all this just is just stuff. Because there is
mhm.
a clock. It's called your womb. At 40, 35, it becomes geriatric pregnancy. If you talk to your OBGYN, at what age does he no longer recommend you? At what age do they no longer recommend you trying to carry a child? You need to ask
Going,
that question.
mhm. Heading
Because
into
these are things that, see, a lot of times women just talk aspirationally, but there are some very practical things as far as a clock. Um, you want 2 more kids. Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant?
I don't mind that. No,
Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant?
I can. Yes,
Do you want to have to work? Yeah, I get
yes.
you.
I will have to work. It's
Okay, what percentage of, okay, if you were married with 3 children, what percentage of the household financial responsibility would you want to have to be responsible for a lifetime? What percentage out of 100%? What percentage of the overall household family bills would you want to be responsible for? That's everything. Retirement too.
I'll say 40. Let's do that.
But is that true?
Yes, I'm definitely very much
Okay, what state do you
well,
live in?
right now I live in Las Vegas. I'm from Washington, DC.
Okay, where would you like to live ultimately?
I'm possibly moving to relocate to either Atlanta or Charlotte just because of other things I was
Atlanta ain't
discussing.
the place to come find a husband. I'm telling you. So,
So even well,
how much would it cost to raise a family of 4 in a middle class lifestyle to have just basic stuff, decent home, access to nice schools, be able to pay for college? How much would you need as a household income?
you said a family of 4,
5.
5, family of 5.
Yeah, 2
I
adults,
was
3 kids.
talking about 300,000 or so, 300, 400,000 between the two families or
Yeah,
between the two parties.
no,
About
closer to 350. Closer to
hmm
350. And so let's just go ahead and do the math.
hmm
So that means you plan on making $140,000 a year for the rest of your life.
more.
Okay, that would be your portion.
hmm
What percentage of women make that kind of income in this country?
I'm not sure at this moment of what percentage.
Less
Probably
than
not.
4%. So how? So what profession or high income skills do you have that will make $140,000 or more annually?
Well, as of now, I am a designer that does clear that. So,
Okay, I'm asking a designer.
well, if I continue, I plan to continue that that
Okay,
job as moving and expanding on that career.
what
So,
kind of designer is it? Clothing? What?
I do clothing designing and manufacturing. So I manufacture different apparels and things of that nature.
Okay,
And I have a large Black business here in the
okay.
U.S.
So now that's for you and 1 kid, though, right?
hmm
How many hours are you working?
Per week. Well, since I set my own
Yeah,
hours, I try to keep it down to around 25 or so hours a week, as in the position that I have, and then I have a staff that I manage as well.
you work 20 hours and you make in excess of $140,000.
So,
Optimistic projections. Um, I'm just going with. I'm just optimistic projections. But then
but
where you
that's
gonna
why I
listen
think
though? No. Where you gonna get the man that's making the 210 though?
not too sure. That's the whole thing. That's like, okay, well, like you said, putting yourself out there, just trying to be in different environments, but trying to see, since I have been new to Vegas, like where, trying to like say pick it and make sure you're doing the
But
right
you haven't
things.
done anything.
I've been out and doing certain things, but
Okay,
I'm
man,
not,
ladies,
you know,
understand something. I went through this
mhm.
example because I need you to understand how women think versus men think.
Yes, sir.
What percentage of men make $200,000 or more?
I know that it's smaller than the other numbers you were discussing,
What
so maybe
percentage of
5.
men make $200,000 or more?
I would say probably 5%, 4.
And what do men with that kind of income tend to do? What do men with that kind of income tend to want from a woman?
Other things you were discussing as far as just
What,
fun,
now,
substantive.
what kind of? Give me no, not what I'm asking. What do you think,
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I've also thought those same things. Like I said, I've been married before, and
ma'am?
getting married.
I'm not asking about that. We're asking about no.
Okay,
You keep going.
I
See,
get it.
Just the inability to answer a direct question. But what Kevin is trying to go ahead and show this woman is, look, even if let's just say, I'm not sure if he took her accolades at face value. Let's just give her all the credit and say everything she's saying is legitimately true. At the end of the day, the ability to cooperate with a man and still know what a man wants, especially when earning that type of money, she still doesn't even understand it. And she's being rather polite. So we got to give her credit for that. It's crazy how we got to give credit to women for being nice. It's crazy, right? On the show. But yeah, exactly. So still with all of that, she still would not know how to properly keep a man. But let's see what she says.
see, at 34 years old, man, you've just shown you're not really thinking about this man. I've asked you a very specific question. You go back to your past
Mm-hmm.
and you jump around. You don't have an answer
Okay. Well, I
because
guess
I've
I would.
asked you twice. Third time,
Okay.
what do
Well,
these kind of men want from a woman?
yeah. Well, I would think that they would want someone that's able to be, that you can talk to, that you can converse with, that you can
Cooperation.
share fun. Yeah, that we can call.
Cooperation.
Yeah,
Cooperation. And men who are earning that kind of money tend not to want to have a woman with a kid.
I understand.
They tend not to want that. They tend to want to start their own family. And at what age do men typically make that kind of money?
I would say late 30s or so, early 40s,
Men, no, 45 to 55. Are you looking to marry a man that's about 50 years old?
early 40s,
Are you
possibly.
looking to marry a man who's 45 to 55? See, these are things you ladies can't change.
I understand that. I'm
So
open to.
you want so again, your man, the kind of man you will be looking for from an income standpoint, is a $200,000 plus a year earner. He'd have to be wanting to accept someone else's child. And how many hours a week do you think men who earn that kind of money are working?
Um, Substantial,
How many hours a week do you think those men are working?
possibly 40 plus.
Talking about 80,
Mm-hmm.
60 to 80 hours a week.
Yep.
So, ma'am, you don't know these men. You don't know them. You don't know where they go. You don't know where they hang. You don't even know what their lifestyle is. Men earn that kind of money 45 to 55. But because you live in an atypical world that's allowed you to make the kind of money you're talking about making with on few hours, you just think like, you seem to think like, that it's easy or that's common. And here's the thing, it comes down to numbers. If they're working 70, 60 to 80 hours plus a week, two kids, two more kids, who gonna raise those kids?
Me.
Then how you gonna run the business?
Well, that's what I'm. No, it's like it's people for that, because I'm trying to be an owner, not a runner any longer. That's what I was saying, transitioning to that lifestyle of family. So
Everything has to work perfectly in your world, man, in order for that to come off. That means your business needs to continue to grow year over year. You need to hire the right staff. You need to just be able to print money in your business. All right. But these kind of men don't want women like that. Men that make that kind of money tend to want traditional family values housewives. And you're not that,
yeah, and I
right?
definitely understand.
Huh?
Mhm. I said I definitely understand.
So, do you want a husband and more kids, or do you want to be a modern woman?
Husband and more kids.
Well, then, ma'am, when are you going to start making that
Metamorphosis. definitely very soon. I definitely, you've given me some great
Well, I'm just
points.
gonna be honest, man. I mean, because you seem like a very you present very bohemian. You got the tattoos on the chest. I don't know many men who make that kind of money who are gonna marry many women that are very artsy and expressive like that. I'm gonna be honest.
I got you.
I mean,
Hmm.
no disrespect, but did your ex-husband make that kind of money?
We were both in the service together
Did
at
your
that time.
ex-husband make that kind of money? That's a yes or no
No,
answer.
sir. No, sir.
Exactly. So see, I simply ask the simple questions that you ladies talk about.
Hmm.
And you say you're not like a lot of these women. They want everything, but you came on here and you still, you're saying it a different way, but you want the world too. You want the same thing. You don't look. See, the thing is, a woman like yourself, or listen to a woman like I just had on, and you'll think y'all are different. And you're different in your approach, but the outcome is very similar. You want an unrealistic lifestyle that most people don't have. You want it after 30 years old, and you want it with another man's child. And the thing is, you can do your part, but there needs to be a man. And a man is sitting back saying, if I'm a $200,000 a year earner and I'm 45 to 55, you still want him to be younger. That means he's going to be older, 45 to 55. And what does he want? And that's the question I kept asking. And unfortunately, I didn't have answers
Hmm.
to. But that's why I wanted to show this as an example that it doesn't matter. You don't have to be rude about it. But man, you want a very narrow, very, very narrow high end lifestyle. And that is not realistic. Why not just marry an average guy? Making
Hmm.
average money. Average black man makes $42,000 a year. Why can't you marry somebody like that?
There's nothing wrong with that either.
But you
As I
couldn't.
said,
But you couldn't. But if you want those kind of kids, see
yeah,
that's a different line.
I was just going with the numbers you were saying prior, but I'm
But
open.
but but the thing is, that would be. But you couldn't have that lifestyle. That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. You see, your lifestyle is if your son is 7 and you're 34, you can live pretty good. But if you're talking about 2 more kids and a husband, you're gonna be carrying 80% of the bills.
Hmm.
Your personal lifestyle is gonna decrease.
I
It,
gotcha. I get
to
it.
offset, that's just the math of it. He can't make $210,000. So if he's making so that's a different kind of car. That's a different kind of neighborhood. That's a different kind of meal. You know, so I mean, are you really cool with decreasing your lifestyle by 80%? Your
uh,
standard of living, your life. Think about what I'm saying now.
I
I'm talking
definitely.
about everything.
Hmm.
Are you good at decreasing your lifestyle about 60 to 80%?
Hmm. I'm definitely, like I said before about the military, I'm not trying to go back, but just I know how to,
Lifestyle.
I know how to change lifestyles. I've come to
All
this
right,
lifestyle.
all
There's
right,
nothing.
all right. So that means you could be a
Hmm.
feminine, supportive woman to a man, and you're
Yes,
the majority breadwinner.
possibly.
Not there. You go. Thank you. Possibly. No,
Or
not
say I'm
possible.
even being open to those possibilities.
Yeah,
It's like I'm open. I've made.
that's why I say therapy is really good because, ma'am, I don't.
Hmm.
I think that that's something that's nice to say, but if you got a car and he has a car, if you drive a BMW, is he gonna get a BMW or does he have to get a Honda Civic?
Oh no, you have to. As far as like you
No, no,
have
no,
to
no,
be.
no, no. I'm asking if you get a Beamer, does he have to have a Honda Civic,
No,
or do you both get the same kind of car?
same kind of car.
Even though you paying the majority of the family bills with your income.
Or you get both things. I don't even necessarily have to have a BMW. It
Okay.
could be both to where
But
we're
what I'm
substantially
saying is,
more
and what I'm
comfortable.
trying to show is that when you actually bring a human being into this equation, it becomes less about theory and more about practicality. And you got to really start imagining a person with wants, needs, and desires sitting there. And I think this is why so many women end up going by themselves because you really don't think about the man that's there.
Mm,
It's a theory. And at 34, you got to start moving differently than you did at 20.
definitely.
I appreciate you calling in, though. It was a good back and forth.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
man.
Kevin.
You have a good one now. Bye-bye.
You too.
You know, guys, I think it a lot of us don't challenge ladies to actually think about what does it mean. And when you want these, I want 3, 4 kids. Okay, but you want 3, 4 kids, but you want to live where? That's a funny thing. The more money people tend to make, the less children they tend to have.
25.
All right. So what do you got for me on the topic?
So I was not able to catch what you talked about on the topic per se in full, but
Okay.
if I had an idea of what you're talking about, you're basically saying that the way that Cardi B and Lizzo appear and basically project themselves is not a good image for the modern woman.
Well,
Is that correct?
what I said is I sarcastically said that men should say thank you because women like Cardi B and Lizzo have shown that it's okay to be sexually explicit, sexually lewd, take advantage of the opposite sex, and they can make money and be prized for it. So Lizzo and Cardi B are showing women an example of how they think women should behave. So conversely, you're saying you think men should behave the same way. And you should be all right with men being the same way. So if a man said he was going to do what Cardi B said, gave a guy some illicit substances to knock him out to rob him, and then set him up with a alternative lifestyle stripper just to blackmail him, and he should still be able
Would
to
it
win a
be the
Grammy.
same if the table?
Yeah, that men should not be canceled. If we're not going to cancel them, you can't cancel men.
I agree to a certain extent, but again, to kind of go on what you've been saying, because I've been watching your content for a while now, and since 300K, so I'm, not new to this. I'm very familiar with the topic at hand. I feel like, certain things are not the same when women do it for men. So men do get that advantage and that aspect. And I feel like in certain instances, it should be the same way. Certain circumstances
I don't know
should
what you
only
did.
be for
I don't know
women.
what. Hold on. I don't know what you just thought you said, but I'm gonna tell you
Okay,
what it
so
came
I'll break
across.
it down for you. I'll break it
Yeah.
down.
Well, you said you agree.
I do.
You agree in certain instances,
I do.
such
So
as.
so for example, so when men are able to, high value men are able to have options and they're able to express and explore their options because they have such high value and have high status, right? So when women, an example, women are not able to do that, even
Hold
with the
on.
high
Wait a minute,
value.
ma'am. You no, those aren't you, ma'am. Lizzo made a song where she says she hasn't fucked Drake yet. Lizzo is in inbox of Chris Evans and men like that who have shown no interest. High
Right,
value men are involved with women who are interested in them. Those two
right.
things, oh, ma'am, hold on. Those two things are night and day.
Okay, I see
Non
where you're coming
sequitur. The
from.
logic doesn't follow.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. So maybe let me clarify what I'm saying. So basically, what I'm saying is when the tables are turned for men in certain examples, it would be
Such as,
acceptable, such as not the one that I just said. Let's just say, for example, when the workforce, men get higher pay, and for the same position that
no,
women
they
do, and
don't. That's a lie. That is.
You know, this is funny, right? Because it's like the same talking points are brought up day in and day out, right? Oh, men are getting paid more. No, men are working more. See, now if you were to factor in how many hours did this woman work and how many hours did this man work, how many days did this woman call off versus how many days this man called off, the man is just more built for work, so he's going to be there. He is not going to call out because it's his time of the month. He's not going to call out because he has a headache. And it's not to say that these aren't valid reasons to call out. I'm going to let you guys decide that. All I'm saying is when you total and add it up, most of the time, the men are choosing to be in the jobs that pay the most. And then when they're in said job, they work the most in terms of they don't really call out. And it's a lot of things that they don't take off. So why are these things never brought up into consideration? Let's continue.
It has been, ma'am, that is a lie. That is a lie. It has been disproven countless times. The myth of the wage gap has been disproven.
Okay.
And look, another thing, right? Quickly. If you could get away with paying women less, why would anybody hire a man? Seriously. Like, logically speaking, physically speaking, right? Why would you?
Okay.
Ma'am, I need you to stop right here. It has been disproven. It is illegal to pay men and women separate, different wages for the same job.
Okay, so I'll just stick to the matter at hand. It couldn't be, done on the same way. It wouldn't be acceptable for men to drug a woman, and get away with it. It wouldn't
But
be.
it should
wouldn't
be.
be okay.
But it should be according to what Lizzo and Cardi B are doing.
Yeah, they're leading the influence. They're projecting and
Do
promoting
you believe?
that
Do
it
you
would
believe
be.
that men and women are equals?
No, I don't.
So I'm always curious when I hear women talk about, well, men can do it, then women, they're like a double standard. Do you not want double standards?
Um, I know that double standards are real.
Do you
I
not
understand
do
that
you
they
want double
exist.
standards? Yes. Or do you not want double standards? No, I don't want double standards. Yes, I do want double standards.
I do want double standards. I do
Okay,
because
because just like you were going to try to give me the wage gap argument, the first off, that has been debunked countless times, but it
okay.
also only deals with the job that women want. Executive level positions, cushy positions. You women don't also make the same argument for the dirty, dangerous jobs. They don't want equal representation there,
That
do
is
they?
true. That
So,
is true. That is true.
so I'm a little bit confused because you say you don't you think that you want you sound like you're talking out of both sides of your neck. It sounds like you believe that women are getting a raw deal in some regards.
I do. I do feel
Where?
like women do get the butt
Where?
end of the stick.
Where?
I mean, I want to answer on topic. I don't want to answer all over the place. So when we're directly talking about Lizzo and Cardi B and their song and what they're
You can
saying,
answer whatever you want to because I'm curious as to where women are getting the short end of the stick here.
I think when it comes to putting themselves out, being very submissive and having to basically uphold a certain persona, a certain standard. And even when we go for certain men, like you said, the average man, it still can sometimes not be enough, or
Yeah,
what they
okay. No, I
want.
don't
So we
understand
get
what you
to,
mean. Where are women getting the short end of the stick when they go out and be submissive? Give me an example of what you're talking about?
okay, so for example, I'm saying like when women don't give that same sort of submissiveness to a man who's making less money than the man who's an executive, someone who works the average job, and
Okay.
he still does not want to put a ring on it, right? Then she feels like, she's
Hold
getting
on, hold on, hold on. Again, you've equated a man's income to his desire to marry. That's what you just did. That is not make any sense.
I guess I'm saying like the entire process. I'm not necessarily saying like just from when they meet each other to courting to marriage. I'm saying the entire process.
But ma'am, you still equate you said if a woman submits to an average guy and settles for the average guy and he
No,
still
no,
don't
no,
want to
no, no.
marry her, she'd have been better off submitting to the executive guy because at least he had more money. Just say it.
No, I'm saying she would
Okay.
feel like she's getting the shorter end of the stick. That's what I'm
The
saying.
shorter
I'm
end of the
not
stick
saying
because of what outcome does she want?
I don't know what outcome she
In
wanted,
your
but the
example,
outcome
what
she
outcome does the
got,
woman want?
the outcome that the woman got was she's not married. She's
Is
not married,
is
and
the outcome that the woman wanted marriage?
I mean, who wouldn't want marriage?
No,
That's what I'm saying.
ma'am, no. You can't say that. Not all women want to get married. I'm asking, is the woman in your
Okay.
scenario is the outcome she
Yes,
wanted marriage?
yes. And
Well,
and
then
my
I got
outcome, she
news for
didn't
you.
want marriage.
Listen. This is why you ladies don't need to be picking men because y'all make no sense. If the outcome you want is marriage, you cannot determine a man who is marriage minded based upon his income. You have to ask, do you want a wife? In what time frame? The problem women in your scenario have is they start dating men who are not looking to be married from the get-go and thinking you can change a man by submitting to him and being nice. If you don't want to be married, it don't matter if he's making 30,000 or 3 million.
It doesn't. It doesn't
Then
at all.
then your
Like the
example,
women feel like, okay,
ma'am, hold on. Then your example made no sense. So women
okay,
get in the short end of the stick in an erroneous example is problematic. You're
okay,
just making stuff up.
okay. I can take that. That's your opinion, and we both, are
It's not
entitled
my
to that.
opinion, man.
What? That's an opinion? He just broke down an argument that you gave, and she said, "Well, that's your opinion." But Kevin is 1,000,000% correct here. Just because a man makes a lot of money doesn't mean he wants to be married. And even in a lot of cases now, we see men making a lot of money and they're refusing to be married. So even if she wanted to grab some anecdotal experiences, it still doesn't support her argument.
A man making, okay, do you think that the woman wants the outcome of being married? Is she only dating men who are marriage minded? Yes or no?
I would be yes.
Then if she's dating a man being marriage minded, then the outcome, as long as she is suitable, is marriage. And I got
Right,
news for
but
you.
that's
How do
but
you?
that's
How
what
do you?
I'm
How do you?
25. I'm 25.
Today, more women of your age are the ones delaying and postponing marriage. There are more men wanting to marry today than women wanting to get married at your age. There are more women having casual sex at your age than men having casual sex.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy. It's crazy because unfortunately you ladies get an opportunity to pick and you think you can choose a husband by dating, and that's not how you pick a husband. Were you raised by your father?
Yes,
Or your mother? How long were your mother and father married?
they still are.
How long they been married?
20 years.
How old was your father when he married your mother?
27 when they met, and
Okay. And how old was your mother when she married your father?
they're 7 years apart.
So she was 20?
Yes,
Huh? Right.
yes.
You're already 5 years behind your mother. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Women are waiting
My mother
too
also
long.
had two
Hold
children.
on,
She also had two
hold
children.
on, hold on. Women are waiting too long, delaying marriage, thinking you can pick a man based upon socioeconomic status, height, weight, tingle, and that's not how you pick a husband. You first have to be a wife material, and then make yourself visible to the men who are marriage minded. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, my mom, she had two children when she met my dad, and she was married before.
I focus on the age.
Yeah.
And she had two children by age 20?
Yes, sir. Yes. I feel like for me though, I'm just trying, and I understand why you say the things you say about the people in my age demographic. For me personally, I just feel like I want to be the change that I want to see in the generation, in the millennials. So I am a
Oh,
content creator, and
hold on,
I
hold
try
on,
to.
hold on, hold on. Do you want to be a wife?
I will be a wife.
I didn't. You will be? Are you
Yes.
involved in a committed relationship right now?
No.
When's the last relationship you had?
2017.
How long did it last?
3 years.
Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? I find it interesting that all you women who want to be the change in the world, you need to be what it is you say. You're
I think I
25.
am.
You're 25. Okay. All right. I'm going to say something that you might not like.
I'm ears. I'm listening.
You may watch my content, but what I'm gathering from your energy and your spirit is it's rather disagreeable.
No, not at all. I
I'm
agree
telling
with
you,
most
ma'am,
of the
I
things
need
you
you to
say.
understand what I said. I'm
Okay.
telling you how I'm experiencing you. See, this is what you ladies need to understand. Is
I
how
think it
men
might just be the angle that, because I have you
I
on.
okay, see, again, just like the previous caller, in our community, the women are so used to telling men that we don't know what the hell we are. We don't know what we feel, gentlemen. We don't know what, whenever we tell them, we don't know what we're talking about. You're 25 and you're going to sit here and tell me at 52, and I told you how I'm experiencing you. And instead of just saying, you're going to tell me, no, that can't be it. No, it's exactly what it is. And I'm
I
going to
never
be,
said that couldn't be it. I
and
just
it's
said,
even more confirmed by your response. Being a wife is more than just a wedding. It's a decision to come into cooperation and submission, willing cooperation and obedience with a man. Your generation has uh, prolonged dating and marriage to the point to where your generation doesn't even date anymore. It's casual sex, swipe left, swipe right. Long stretches without relationships. You're 25 and your last relationship was 4 years ago and it was 3 years, so that means at 18 to 21 that means your prime years when women of other cultures and other groups are younger and getting on the same page with the man. You ladies are out trying to become these modern women and worried about bigger lives and wanting to make major moves versus being in a family unit with the man. And if that's what you choose to do, understand that's fine. But what men are looking for, especially the higher up you go, is a woman to get on his page. He's not looking for a partner. He's not looking for a co-pilot. He's looking for a helpmeet.
I definitely agree. I've seen it firsthand.
Let's see. Let me bring somebody else in. So what kind of change are you trying to facilitate with your generation?
Honestly, the whole thought culture. I want to bring back what's not popular.
What's that?
Being articulate, being able to represent yourself well, being able to brand yourself without degrading yourself,
How about
being
being a
able.
wife? That's what's not represented. We don't need a bunch of non-thought single women.
I agree.
Okay. So kudos on not wanting to be the thought, but if it's not a wife and a mother, it's kind of useless to a community.
Also, I believe too, I have good role models and good influencers or influences that, my sisters, one of them is married with a family of her own, she took after my mom. So it's just encouraging. I do want to get married, but at the same time, I'm not
By
saying
what
that
age?
I don't have an age.
You need an age. See, stop. You need an age.
I had an age. I had an age.
When?
28.
When?
28 was my age. But
Okay, and
now
you're
when I'm
no. See,
25.
no. See.
Okay.
See, I knew he kept talking. It's gonna get there.
Okay. I do have an age. 28 is my age.
Right. And how do you put? Okay. Again, your mother was with 2 kids, got married at 20. You're 25, and you have these dreams and goals to help women to reclaim the image and everything else. But in the Black community, the best thing a Black woman can do to help build the Black community is marry a Black man and make Black babies and stay with your Black man. Huh?
I agree. I agree.
Well,
I agree.
then when I hear you say your last relationship was 3 years ago, you're 25, The clock is ticking. You have to put a clock on this because women in your position look up and they're past the wall in the danger zone. In the danger zone, headed straight to the wall. You're going to look up, you're going to be 27.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you're going to be 30. And then it's going to start getting tight. That's why I asked you, are you dating anyone seriously now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well
I'm
then
not
how long would you need to
anyone.
date somebody? How long would you need to be with somebody before you would
3 months before I considered marriage. 3 months.
okay.
3 months.
And what
I
are
think
some
that's
of the
enough time. I'm sorry, go
okay.
ahead.
And what are some of the things that you would look for?
I think that's enough time to see how they are in all of their emotions,
And what
That's just me personally.
okay. But what are some of the things you would look for from a basic standpoint?
How he can lead. That's important. How he can lead, because that's key. I want to have a large family, so I want to make sure that I can have
How
my
many
large
children
family
do
with
you want to have?
8. I want to have a
8?
lot of kids.
How many children? Did you say 8?
8, yes, 8.
What state do you live in?
Illinois.
Okay. With 8 children, I'm assuming you don't plan on working.
No. Mm-mm.
How much money would a man need to make for a family of 8 children, a wife, and
A
not have?
lot. A
Okay, not
lot
a
of
lot,
money.
not a lot, but how much money would a man need to make annually to fund a family of 10?
$1 million or
Uh-huh.
more.
Uh-huh. And you're 25. What's the top end age you would want your husband to be?
Honestly, 37, 38. But I would be open to 42 to 47. Because my parents had an age gap, I'm not opposed to an age gap, especially now that I'm older. But it would have to be right. We would have to be able to be on the same, like I said,
Ma'am,
mind waves. We would have
there's no
to,
right with the man you just described. I need you to understand a millionaire, you've got no say in this. You'll be lucky if he even look in your door. And this is why I lean back in my chair because the level of entitlement, it would have to be right. Ma'am, you're speaking as though you got leverage and power over a young millionaire. You're
but
talking,
Kevin,
man, I need you to listen. I need you to listen.
yes.
You're
Okay.
talking about a man in the top 1%, a 1/10%, a man making $1 million. What professions pay a man $1 million annually, legally?
Legally, tech,
Tech what?
STEM,
No.
STEM,
What professions?
science,
No. Give me
technology,
some perfect. No. Don't give me. I know what STEM is.
computer engineering,
What
data
job titles?
data
What
analyst.
job titles?
Are these not titles? I thought these were. Maybe I'm not.
Those are data analysts, an entry level data analyst, ma'am.
I never
At
said
what level?
entry level. I
That's why I'm
never said
asking you. I'm asking you.
COO, CEO of businesses.
CEO. Do you guys understand where I'm going with this?
I just honestly, Kevin, I understand your platform, and I've been very respectful, as I always am. And I just want to represent
Yeah, I
the
know what.
new.
Yeah. See, the problem is when you start, you don't. There's nothing that you should be other than respectful. You're not doing me
Yeah.
a favor by being respectful. That's what you're supposed to
No.
do. I'm just asking
Yes.
you questions about what it is you say you want, and you say you,
Yes.
and I'm telling you how I experienced you at
Yes.
25 and the disagreeable nature. And
And
I'll
what
leave it and I'll leave it to
can
the
I?
audience to decide. I'll leave it to the audience to decide. I'm pretty comfortable in what I've read, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, all right. And when it comes right down to it, I want a family of 8 and a millionaire, and I want to make sure that it has to be right. He has to be on my. I'm like, what fantasy? She just talking. This what?
Man, is Kevin on the money here, guys? Kevin says he's gonna leave it up to the audience, so I'm gonna let you guys answer it. Is there something we're missing here? This woman did come into this conversation like, yeah, it has to be right, and he'd have to be a millionaire, and he'd have to be this, and he'd have to be this. Listen, and what is he getting? She's coming in this like he would be lucky. He would be the lucky one. Insane. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.